5.
So welcome to our September planning meeting today, Tuesday the 12th of September. First item is 27323, declarations of indisclosable pecuniary interest. None showing, thank you. See if there are any, and state them before the item, please. 27423, apologies for absence, please.
Cambridge, Mitchell, Peters.
So 27523, to confirm the minutes of the planning committee held on the 8th of August. See, we didn't have an August full council meeting, so they haven't gone through, but are members happy for me to sign them as a true record? 1, 2, 3 and 4 the minutes, please. Yep. Dissenting voices then. 27623, planning applications to consider. First one is A, bell removal of external chalk wall.
Okay, so the proposal is the removal of the external chalk wall to ground level due to the disintegration of chalk and lime caused by the River Thetford drainage channel. Location is Spring House, Spring Walk, so it's the first map. So the proposal on the design and access statement is to remove the crumbling chalk wall to ground level. So following on.
Very.
I'm going to have to accuse myself from this one. I've had a long conversation with Mr. Bell about this.
Thank you.
Okay.
We can note that, please, Karen.
So following on from a breach in the River Thetford around 2018, there has been a huge amount of water flowing down our drainage channel. It has now eroded away the foundations of a wall and made it structurally unsafe. The plan is to remove the wall down to ground level. So this is another sign of the location, the red being where the wall is situated, and a photograph of the wall. So looking on the portal, there's been no comment from the HBO.
So this is purely for removal. Is there anything on there in terms of replacement? Or,
no, it's just reducing.
So all we're looking at are removing this down to tail. Right up to the floor.
I read the attachment from the consultant, which was quite interesting. And there's a couple of comments in there where they don't pass judgment as to why the wall is damaged. And I think it's important that we note that it's not necessarily, in their view, because of the breach. However, it is damaged. So I think our view as a planning committee is to decide on a planning basis, is it suitable to be removed, not why it needs to be removed. It's very hidden. It's not a public facing structure. It's round the back. You can't really see it. Several people obviously are aware of it, and it's been there for a long while. But I think it's got quite low value in the sense of it's not a high profile site. It's relatively low historic significance. And so personally, I can't see an issue if it's in somebody's private garden. I don't see it.
Any further comments? No. So on
I just have one to add on this in general. Whilst it is in somebody's garden, there are increasingly less and less of these walls, and not only walls but buildings with clunch build on them, and that's a key feature of Thetford building. And they're disappearing very fast. So we've got to be very careful about how many we just say yes is okay to. I completely get your point, Terry. It is way behind and out of sight. But let's make that point. Thanks.
Brindle.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to back that map as hard as possible. This is what gives Thetford its character. This the clunch and the other particular building materials. The problem is that we've got it happening all over town. This kind of collapse, and it would appear that it may be that the mortar or the cement or whatever you call it, that's used to bind stuff together, has now become very brittle and dried out, and it's probably past its sell-by date. Can even have the concrete. So it's really difficult to be saying, as Matt pointed out, yeah, you can knock it down and keep it down, or finish knocking it down and keep it down. because of the dangerous knock-on effect to other walls. So I think if we do decide to agree with this, and I think we probably have to, as Terry said, we need to make it very clear that there's a specific reason here, which is not the river, as you said quite rightly, but because it's internal to a property. And I suggest we don't pursue the river issue, but say on the grounds it's internal within the property, so it's not detracting from the view of Thetford to anyone.
So may I take it from the feeling on the table, we're a supporter? Do that? Yeah. Do we wish to make any additional comment, or we do to leave it at that?
I'll just
Councillor
put,
Jeremy.
I think Mike's point there is very valid, but this is very case specific, our response on this, although we would support it on this occasion for the reasons Mike's outlined, because it's in a private garden. I think we should comment to the effect that actually that doesn't mean we necessarily take a different view on a different location.
Thanks. Be happy with that?
can I just check the comment back in a
Yep.
minute? I'm still scribbling.
Good.
So what I put is supporter. This is case specific, so we're not necessarily another application. Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, moving on then to 0745 5 Nightingale Way. Roofed gazebo.
Yeah, so it is literally to put a, this is the map of the location. I'm afraid that, as you can imagine, the slides are not. That's where the gazebo is going to go. And this is what the gazebo looks like. So this is what they're intending to put up as a permanent structure. There are concerns from the neighbour, and while they do not have a problem in principle with the plans, they do have concerns regarding the close proximity to the boundary fences. It's less than 30 centimetres. The pitch of the roof sloping towards the fence is causing concerns about water runoff onto the boundary fence. And while a drainage system will need to be fitted to stop this, that would mean it would be hanging over the fence, or at least very close to it, which would make future maintenance or replacement of the fence problematic. And the neighbour has requested that this is addressed.
We just go back to the plan to show where the item is positioned.
You can see it's actually along the boundary fencing.
At the back.
Yeah.
Points.
I think if I was a neighbour, I'd probably object just the same, but really a planning issue, is it? And particularly as it's not actually next to the building, it's more next to the garden or the open land. Maybe we might agree to do it ourselves to oppose it, but I very much doubt if Thetford will. I can't see what planning force there is to it.
So we could do it subject to neighbours' comments.
Any other comments from the table? No.
Just think if they, even there's 30 centimeters, like you said, but if they put water drainage to address the issue of water flow into the other property, you can justify very much why you wouldn't want to put it there. This is a very small structure. I mean, the gazebo is not massive. So I don't think that's, whilst I sympathize with the neighbors, they might not want it there. I don't think we can really argue much against putting a gazebo up, particularly as small as that.
Are we happy to support? No further comments on it?
Would you like it subject to neighbours' comments, or are you not worried?
I think from the planning side, we've got little to go with. One would hope that if there is an issue where the water starts flowing onto it, then it becomes a civil matter, really.
Yeah.
But,
So support and no additional comments.
so 0817 then, Removal conservatory and replacement single story extension, 15 Vicarage Road.
Okay, so this is for the removal of a conservatory, replaced with a single story extension, with a roof lantern. And, a roof lantern being, basically their architectural skylights. So if you think about the top of a, Victorian, greenhouse, you know, that kind of apex glass panels, that's what the, roof lanterns look like.
Do you have any drawings?
Yeah, make me. So, so this is the site map. This is the, elevations.
Will actually be in the back garden,
Yes.
Yeah.
which nobody can really see anyway.
Comments?
Assume the conservatory and this extension are the same story, they're not shooting up in size.
No, single.
Yeah, single story to single story again, yeah.
Just. No, I don't think they put in pictures of the sky. I think I had to Google it because I didn't know what a sky lantern was.
It's too obtrusive in terms of.
If there was a late on this, it's going to the actual full.
Precedent along that row anyway. Isn't there?
There was an addition today. So, they also want a new front porch.
So this planning application.
Yeah, so they've just sent it through literally at 22 this afternoon. So let me have a look at the application, view documents.
So the house in particular is the one behind the tree. And it's that door there. And so you can see that the porch will end up within the bounds of the
Yeah,
garden.
so there they go, so from there, so let me just have a look, because that might actually be.
As you say, by looking the rest of them in the street, they don't protrude, whereas this one
If you
does.
look on the plan, actually, they've put the porch on already. What they
Yeah.
did is they just changed the description because they left it off the description.
Yeah.
It's actually on
It
there.
is on the drawing. You can see it top left.
Proposed elevation.
There you go, and down here as well. So all that last email this afternoon, is they missed the word front porch of the description.
Comments?
So the only thing I would say on this, if I may, is on that side of the street, I can't see another one with a porch on the front.
There aren't.
I agree.
So that, you know, that is a significant difference on the front. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point to make, because whilst this isn't in the conservation area, we're probably getting to the age of these buildings now where at some point they probably will be looking to be put in the conservation area, and to start changing the character of that street may occur if we start setting precedents like this. But in the main, are we a supporter or objector?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any additional comments?
I personally would like to flag up the addition of the porch will set a precedent there and just take away the character, but I don't know whether the other tables.
I'd agree with that.
Does it matter if it sets precedent?
We start changing the character of the street.
Yeah, but
Victorian terrace.
it's not. It's going to make the place probably more firmly efficient or anything like that, so, yeah, fine.
It's that trade-off, isn't it? Aesthetics against the but this is for you as a council. Do we wish to make that comment or not? A couple of people say yes. Are you happy to make that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So supporter, however, ETC wish to comment that this will set a precedence to change. This will set a precedent. Sorry, that the porch
It's the only thing.
will set a precedent to change the character of the.
Thank you. 0821, two-storey front extension, 29 Cannons Close.
So, let's put this paperwork away. Lots of paperwork. So, okay, so it's a two-storey front extension with part pitched and part flat roof. It is a residential detached four-bedroom property. Let me just pull up the, Chris leaning forward to say flat roof. The property has similar sized properties on either side with generous separation distances either side. Also, there has been planning precedent set as the approval at 15 Cannons Close was given also to a single-storey rear extension, front floor, front extension above the existing kitchen and internal alteration. So there has already been precedent set in the area. These are the existing elevations. You can see where the hatched is where the proposed elevations will be in the future. They're saying that the side window glass will be obscured windows. Both neighbours support the plans and the HBO has no objections. And like they say, a precedent has been set by the approval of plans for 15 Cannons Close.
Happy to support?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And on to 0823, variation, removal of condition on Thomas Paine Hotel.
So I did put the information up. Condition 5 from the original permission was that operations on site shall take place in complete accordance with the approved agricultural impact assessment, the tree protection plan and agricultural method statement prepared by Thetford. So no other operations shall commence on site in connection with the development until the tree protection works and any preemptive tree works required by the approved AIA or AMS has been carried out and all tree protection barriers are in place as indicated on the TTP. Works shall not commence until written confirmation has been obtained from the appointed agriculturalist to confirm the tree. Protective fencing shall be retained in good and effective condition for the duration of the construction of the development and shall not be moved or removed temporarily or otherwise until all site works have been completed and all equipment and machinery removed from the site. So that was the original condition. And then I was reading it, I might have to take it out. And so, and then, so the finding surveys that were done was that there was one singular yew tree of normal condition showing good vitality and crown cover with no errors of dieback or browning of needles. The tree has been reduced in the past, however, this is in keeping with its location that requires regular maintenance. The tree appears in good health with no visible damage or biochemical issues. So that was that bit. And then what it said about tree protection was that tree protection fencing shall be required to be installed as shown in the tree protection plan. Fit for its purpose, fencing must be installed post any tree works and before construction begins on site and will remain in situ throughout the construction phase. This is to prevent machinery entering this gravelled area and give protection from possible ground action. So that was all the information that came with it. And I've just read all that. But basically, that's the tree in question and the tree survey saying that the tree is in good health.
With this, I can't see a reason for not protecting the tree.
There is
You
none.
take the protection away and it might accidentally get knocked over.
Agree.
So I don't see any point at all in removing that tree. That protection around the tree. I'm against that.
Yeah, have we any legitimation for why they want this order taken away?
No.
Oh, well, then we don't, do we?
Was the condition put in for the construction period or was that to remain in place?
Yes, yeah.
While the construction is there, where there's any machinery on site, that protection around the tree stays.
So we know that the construction is complete.
Is the construction complete with all the equipment off the site?
My understanding that the building.
Because it says the condition is no longer required as the tree is in good condition and works are complete.
If everything's off the site, then fine, but if there's anything on the site,
I went and walked at there today and there's nothing relating to the extension there.
so in that case, that it automatically comes to an end. And there's a need to ask that that should be removed. Do they? If the works are
I don't know
complete.
why it's come, that's all confused myself because
Yeah, it may well be because we had to see the statement from the agriculturist that said that the tree was still good and healthy and okay.
what's it, the tree?
If we are completely convinced and satisfied that there's no work taking place, then fine, but otherwise, I don't see the point in asking for it to be removed
No, and if the work is complete, then it's removed automatically, so there's no point in this application at all, is there?
Maybe misunderstand that they require to put in a request for that once, even though that they would automatically be removed at the end of works. Could it be that the applicant thought that a request needed to put in for the purpose? Or is there any other particular reason? I don't know.
So the conditions are put in under policy DC 12 of the adopted core strategy and development control policies declared document 2009. And that is to ensure that development has appropriate regard to the impact of conditions. So I guess this is a post report saying the agriculturist says the tree is healthy and happy, and then we can sign off that condition. Because that'll be a completion condition.
Just to confirm that they're specifically talking, so condition 5, operations on site shall take place in complete accordance with the AIA.
Yes.
So this specific works,
Yeah.
that's going on at the moment, not a blanket statement for, and then if we want to do some works in a year's time.
No, it's only for this
Specific thing.
this extension.
Currently, this item on the street.
So are we happy that it was removed if the
Works are
construction is
complete,
finished?
then logical thing to do.
Well, it doesn't need to be removed because once the construction is finished, then it's no longer applicable, is it?
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
So we don't grant it, and then when the work's complete, it can go back to the status quo.
It says on the application that the works are complete.
So then what's the point of the application? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but they've asked us to.
Okay.
Maybe I think the applicants.
I don't think,
that effect
I don't think in good faith we can remove that.
Yeah, I think you're right. The answer's got to be no. But the works are complete, so there's no issue.
Yeah.
So that we are making clear our condition, but we're also saying we're not trying to be difficult. We're just saying there's no need to remove it.
It's just in a way, we're just confirming the natural process, natural course of things. If the work are completed, and things will come out eventually anyways.
Bearing in mind what Matt said, do we object to the variation being removed? However, we can make reference that we believe that the construction is complete per the thing.
And therefore we don't need to give permission.
Yeah.
For a caveat that it can be removed whenever all works are completed per natural.
So object to,
Just
that's
the logical thing to do, I would
the
imagine.
works being complete. And condition automatically removed.
Satisfied, I presume.
Really a non-issue.
So, sorry, due to works being complete?
Currently being complete.
Well, they're saying.
Well, they're
in the
saying it
application.
is.
Fair enough.
Saying to works being to complete and condition therefore automatically removed.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Sorry.
Just perhaps better selection of words there. We are content that the condition is removed so long as the work is complete, but we would not support the premature removal of the condition.
It does say on the application that the works are complete.
It also says that the condition is no longer required because the tree is in good condition. It's irrelevant if the tree is in good condition. The condition only should be removed if the work is complete.
I think we as a council need to make it clear that we don't remove these conditions on no basis, that we only do it. That we need to be consistent. We don't remove these conditions under any circumstances. Once the condition is void, then nothing to do with it.
So what would you like the revised wording to be?
What Terry said.
Yeah, I'd go along with it.
So what did you say, Sarah? Sorry again, sorry, because my writing, thinking and listening at the same time isn't necessarily coherent.
We do not support the premature removal of the condition unless building work has been complete and therefore the condition is extant in any case.
You're satisfied with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You Google that.
Right, on to 824 then. Citizens, 3 dwellings, land at Pike Lane. We've had some applications in this area before. It's a revised plan, so the ones we've seen.
So.
We've done this one before.
The vehicular access on that one is really poor.
It's quite a big document, I think, statement.
On the other side.
Okay.
It says the site demonstrates plentiful space for 3 units which have been laid out as a terrace and designed in such a way as not to affect or ruin the amenity of any neighbours to the north or the south. The dwellings will feature individual parking for 2 cars each and garden facilities. An existing access onto the one-way street Pike Lane is to be incorporated. So, move on to that one. Oh, it's very small. The site is currently disused land central to the rear of houses and shops in Pike Lane, Old Market Street and Castle Street. The land has sat unsightly in a hotspot for unofficial waste disposal for some years. The established site entrance is via Pike Lane and sits north of Roy's Store. The site is free from any building structures past or present and is bounded by timber fencing and a flint wall to the east and the west. So it sits in a prominent position close to the town centre and local amenities. And it's close to the train station, blah, 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 blah. What other things are in the building? So the proposed siting of the dwellings are placed in such a way as to make best use of the space when upcamping the site. Each house is spaced at 74 square metres over 2 stories, which suits a 2-bedroom, 3-person dwelling. This gives ample space for access, parking and garden amenity space. The dwellings are traditionally in form with 2 stories but low eaves, ensuring overlooking to the north and west are kept to a minimum. Flint walls will feature brick coins, which corresponds with the historic sense of architecture in the area. Trees buffer the eastern boundary and a planting scheme will be proposed to all sides. So the historic building officer said he has no objection in broad terms of principle to this location, although it is considered that the proposed disposition of the fenestration be reviewed to better complement that of a typical symmetrical handed approach employed within the majority of the town's neoclassically inspired traditional building stock. Ditto for joinery detail and palette of external materials. In addition, it is considered that the proposed canopy porches are incongruous and should be removed. The planning and the Norfolk County Council's architectural archaeological department have stated that if planning permission is granted, they would ask that it is subject to a programme of archaeological mitigation.
Comments? David?
Access to the site is atrocious. Yeah, trying to turn into there, it's right on the bend, there's a telegraph post in the drive. If any vehicle is coming out, nothing can get in, and obviously vice versa.
Very mature trees as well on the site.
It does say there's tree preservation orders involved, no trees will be knocked down.
I always find it really helpful when architects or whoever include cars on a plan, because then I can use that as a guide as to how big the properties are. I mean, we're essentially talking about living conditions of 2 cars. And what they describe as an ample garden space is 2 cars. I've read the design and access statement because I couldn't quite believe that they met the minimum space for a property. It doesn't tell me what in this report what the minimum number is. It just tells me that it meets it. I bet it's probably bang on the minimum, to be honest with you. They are tiny. You know, it's a classic case of overdevelopment for me. Tiny houses, 3 is too many to be crammed in there, and I don't think the amenity space is ample.
Good with that.
Yeah, some time ago, we had an application come in from the same people to build 10 pods in that space. Do we still have the objections we put in there?
Sure, we can look them up. I suspect my recollection is it was overdevelopment. The style of them wasn't really in keeping with the town centre because if you remember, it's like flat roof, just container type style. And yeah, the
Rubbish issue as well.
and I think, Chris, you're right. If you look at where the bin storage is going to be, you know, if you look at that site, you can't. Is it the blue bit?
That's the bike.
That's bikes, green bits.
The stalls are by where the cars are.
Yeah. So
Slightly different colour thing on that.
They're out the front.
I think it's overdevelopment again.
And that would be at least 2 bins out the front as well. You can't do the top house, you can't get down the side of it. It's 900 mil wide at the almost the widest point, tapering down. So, like, you know, even Annie can't get through there, let alone me.
So I take from the comments we're an objector.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the grounds will be the overdevelopment. David mentioned the traffic, highways.
Yeah.
Do we have anything from highways that at this stage?
I did look on the rules and stuff, and like a non-material consideration is like the noise from the traffic. Trying to get huge trucks into there is not something to take into account, which seems absurd, bearing in mind the vehicle is going to go along whatever that street is, then up Pike Lane, around the corner and back onto the side. As a non-material consideration, that seems strange, but as I say, vehicles can't come out there and anything else going in. So I don't like it at all.
I think one of the other things that comes up in this is you do feel slightly hoodwinked when they put things like, and the area has attracted fly tipping and the others. Well, you own it, mate.
You can't get fly, you know, there's huge fences across the front, behind a big stone wall.
Oh,
No, it's a little bit irony, but I feel when I see developments like those, I think this is a new subtle version of approaching the old HMOs. It's like trying to cram the old HMOs under a new bracket just to make it look fancier. That's just me. That's way too many dwellings in one small place.
so we're going to go on the overdevelopment. I think the highways issues is something that we can definitely go vehicular access, highway safety. There's a blind corner coming out there for that. Is there anything else we want to mention? Just apart from those two.
Is it worth mentioning? I've read the whoever it was, Historic England or whoever, about the heritage aspect. That we would support the fact that this is in a conservation area. It recognises that in the report, and it should absolutely be a condition that they're made to pay for an archaeological dig of some sort. You know, it's a significant site, very close to Castle Park. You know, and we support their
So I
view
think,
about its significance.
It's the environment, archaeological environment.
Yeah, I've had that.
Good morning before we came down, and we were up there a couple of days ago picking the dogs up. So I think we'll
Yep.
support the archaeological,
kids.
Right, thank you. On to 827, on Telford Way, Poocher's Yard.
The Doggy Daycare Centre. Very small amount, another very small amount. This is a prime example of how plans differ. See if I can make that a bit bigger.
This is the back. No, this is the back of it.
So this is a change of use from B2 light industrial to sui generis to allow the doggy daycare.
So just so everybody knows where it is, Bobby Daycare is currently at the bottom of that road,
Yeah.
where, you know, next to the tip.
Next to Lee's Leisure.
Yeah. And it's now going to be on the front. So I'm going to do my best driving here.
Why is this planning? Why is this planning?
Change of use.
Change
Oh,
of
it's
use
gonna
from
be-
B2.
They're relocated, right? They're relocated
Generous.
where, along where Breckland Hygiene.
Work.
Buildings where they get planning can only be used for certain
Oh, okay.
purposes. And if they want to change it.
I believe.
Was the end one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get there. Sorry, my driving's not so good on this machine.
Going the wrong way.
Enterprising, wasn't
Okay.
Any comments? Support?
Yeah. Obviously an expanding, successful business.
Very good business.
Yeah, they've done very well for themselves.
I think they plan to have.
No,
Yeah, my bad, yes.
Which that space in the area.
I think they're planning to have like a sushi parlour as well, aren't they?
Oh, nice. You're more than welcome to take my dogs now. So, moving along.
On to 837 then. Mr. Briers, demolition of existing outbuilding and erection of timber prefabricated single-storey granny annex 45 Mackenzie Road. It says a revised scheme, so I presume we've had this in the past.
Yes, so that is the location. So where it's actually going to go within the location, and this is the actual design itself. Right, and that is the floor plan.
Can you just go back to that plan where it's situated on the site?
Oh, yeah, so it's up in that bottom corner. Whichever way you're looking at that. So let me just grab a piece of this.
Right,
the footprint changed because I think we supported this.
I think we supported it 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, because it was actually Breckland that, it's one of our variations. It was Breckland that actually said no to it. We supported it, but
Right.
Breckland said no to it.
carry on, please.
Say no,
For
Breckland,
ancillary use, that looked quite large. Can we just point out that Breckland, if they do give consent, should absolutely condition it so that it is tied to the main property and not, you know, later down the road becoming a standalone. That did look quite large to me. rather than a granny annex.
2 bedrooms. How many granny?
Shower.
How many grannies they having in there?
Can you put that slide back up that showed the footprint of it? Yeah. I mean, it is basic. I mean, crikey, it's bigger than Pike Lane.
Design option.
I'm moving there.
Better off with this one.
I think they need to be wise to that sort of thing.
Okay, so we're happy to support, but subject to,
Being an extension of the main property rather than an isolated dwelling in itself.
Support, but request condition
condition that annexes.
that annex
There's a size, actual sizes of that.
is part, probably have done part of the sort of the main building, yeah?
Yeah. Because it was too big, I would imagine.
Because of that. They ought to be more clear about.
Also, I don't know if it's actually on there. It's on the application.
It's 10 metres across the bottom there, Stuart, so that's about 10 metres long. Fair old but
So there you go, there's the annex. Planning policies. I think it's, I can't see quickly whether it's got the.
Exactly the same size as the available. Is it going to be on the front?
It's going a long way. Yeah.
I haven't actually got the sizes on the.
It's about 10 metres at the bottom there, which is 33 feet. Isn't it?
I don't want to be granny.
Right, move on then to 842. Hagan, erection of automated car wash facility. Within an existing yard with inclusion of solar panels to the roofs in Stevenson Way.
Yes, so. Chanel? Is there?
There's already a car wash there, isn't there? Don't lorry, there's a lorry wash. Yeah. Private one for their.
So if we look, so this is actually, like you say, it's part of something that's already there. Because we've done Stevenson Way before, haven't we?
This was at the end.
Yeah.
Looks like it's on the corner.
So this is the proposed use of the existing yard area as an automated car wash facility. So it's within a development.
As a commercial enterprise. Or
Yeah, the existing yard is adjacent to a warehouse building which is currently being used as a cash and carry storage of wholesale items.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Original location.
Yeah.
Back on where Williams Coal Storage used to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Where they've already got a lorry wash. Right.
Around the other side of.
In front of it.
Yeah.
So next to the little cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That's the one we said opposite Parks. Touching with the last there, yeah. That's what it's.
You go along there. If we come in the back way from Little.
Touching an elephant.
That's right at the end. I managed to get it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the other side of it.
Are they going to be enclosed bays or are they going to be going out onto the road?
Diagram, I think Tina's got up there, you've got the arrows showing the movement.
Can you see Mac on the bottom left corner on there, where it says Burrell? Yep.
There you go.
Chuck a
That's
little man on Burrell. That might be
Burrell,
quicker
isn't
for you than going round.
But easier to move it around.
That's it.
Yeah, I'd be.
Yeah.
Right, then turn
It's
left, just left.
I have it easy to transfer.
Not.
In the driving test.
Yeah,
It's shot
that is actually a lot quicker, thank you.
That's the.
That's where that white lorry's parked.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I'm just going to navigate the traffic, sorry.
Look for the dirty cars.
Oh,
There we
that's the
That'll be
one.
there then.
Right, okay.
Next unit down.
Yeah, it is.
No, I don't know.
It's outside where that white lorry is, isn't it?
He's very inconsiderate parking there.
Automated car wash.
That's fine, yeah, okay.
I think that's what it is.
Something nice too.
And it's
Just-
in this corner.
24
here.
hours. Used to be a warehouse for Kearns and Brown, many years ago. In the co-op, I think it may have been there at one stage.
Are we happy to make some comments, Terry?
I don't have an issue from a planning point of view. You know, it is industrial estate, cars need to be washed. The only thing I'm always nervous about with car washes is the runoff, the drainage system, and particularly if they use chemicals and where those chemicals go to. So I do think we should comment on that.
Got anything in the design act? I know we've brought this up in the past on certain applications.
Mentioned before, yeah. Car wash with
I mean, lots of these
It's
drains
the
flow to the river.
drainage and, Just have a look and see.
That's a planning issue, but lots of car washes are cash in hand and they are, that's slave labour, like captive labour and stuff. So I don't know if there's anything there that can be done to probably regulate it, or that completely out of our hand.
The issue with this one seems to be more automatic. It's more of a modern version of car washing. It's all sort of self-washing.
Yeah.
Modern system. I don't think they require a lot of manual labor. It's all automatic, and so I don't think there'll be much of an issue there. It really is the drainage. It's about them finding, the right, or building the right structure around it, make sure that those things.
So the access to the car wash is controlled by security. CCTV security monitoring 24 hours.
By the looks of it, they're driving in, then driving into one of the pods there to have a complete automatic car wash.
I don't know if I saw it on one of the plans. Is it joined on to a unit?
There is existing
So the warehouse.
shutters to be closed off to prevent access via existing warehouse to
I only
propose.
say that because they are noisy, and do the people who work in that area or own that area mind?
I was going to say that there could be comments from.
Yeah.
It's going to be, closed off.
Can't get rid of the noise though, and I don't know what those units are used for.
Thing is, if it's an industrial estate, then you're going to get noise anyway, aren't you?
It's suspected.
And I don't think where that is, that's going to, people on, backs onto Oak Close and Ash Close, I don't think they'd hear from there, would they?
I'm just wondering if we go along the lines of support, however, we'd want the environmental health, make sure that everything's being applied.
I think that comes under the capacity of the physical infrastructure, e.g. public drainage or.
Yeah.
So not only the capacity, but the correct disposal.
Well, we can put in like noise disturbances filtering from use, including proposed hours of operation.
They have that in place at the car wash by the BP. They're not allowed to open before 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so that could be, that could be.
The sign that says 24 hours, so it's a self-wash 24/7.
Okay.
So it could be open at any given time. I don't think that's going to be something they. I think because it's a modern car wash and everybody's sort of does it all on their own without much supervision. That's why it's 24 hours. Otherwise, it's not effective for whoever's doing this together.
It says it's an industrial estate.
Yeah.
It's a dilapidated building. They need something doing with it. As long as our ecology and infrastructure is looked after.
I have a feeling that we restricted, if it wasn't 24 hours, they wouldn't build in this particular place. They would.
If we know if it's a franchise that they're rolling out, or is this a one-off?
Don't know.
Okay.
And also, if it is 24 hours, would the noise then carry when the rest of the industrial estate's silent?
No, I don't think it'd carry far enough onto the residential area. Anyway.
We asked for environmental health officers' views and noise impact assessment.
I think that's the best way to go.
So
I think we'll support her, however, wished environmental health
subject to,
appraisal
environmental health appraisal,
picks up the water
Drainage.
drainage. Yep. Right, thank you all. And then to 866. Application Lawson Estate Agent, externally mounted illuminated fascia sign, 34 King Street, the old Hughes building.
Seconds.
wrong one. So,
Just put it on top of those.
866.
Yep.
Externally mounted illuminated fascia sign, 7.4 metres by 1.1 metres to go on Lawson Estate Agents on King Street. The HVO has put no objection in the proposed replacement signages within the current signage sizes. And Highways has put, if permission is granted, please impose the following condition, SHC 27. The level of illumination shall not at any time during the hours of darkness exceed 600 CD meters squared, no part of the source of the illumination shall at any time be directly visible to users of the adjacent public highway. Reason in the interest of highway safety. So let me just scoot along. So that's how it looks now. Well, it's not that how it looks now, because they're taking the Hoover sign off.
Oh,
So
they're moving now.
that's what the Lawson sign will look like. That's just the existing ground floor.
Yeah, I think all we're just looking at is purely the sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Changing.
I do have issue with the illumination. We've made this point a number of times with the town council. Illuminated signs in a conservation area are not appropriate. I know we have them in the high street. I'm going to sort of fight in a losing battle, but it's about time Brecon Planning started insisting on a stronger planning code for the town centre. You even have a conservation area or you don't. I do think we should be, commenting and objecting on the illumination aspect. I mean, it's an estate agent. It's open during the day. I mean, why do they need the lights on at night?
Is Hughes lit up? Is the current Hughes sign lit up?
Andy's black.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah.
Matt Glinster.
Terry's very right. We did make a strong point about the super slots or Merca slots, whatever it is next door, specifically about the illuminated signs, and they've gone back on that. So it's the building next door.
Yeah. Sure.
I would say the same snack about their slots. They're going to have an illuminated sign all night.
So if we're going to be consistent with what we've done in the past, then we would object to say that we don't feel that the illumination is appropriate for the conservation area. Are we happy with that?
Yes.
Nice to electric. Don't one of them leave it on or not?
And actually, isn't it a condition in the Thetford Area Action Plan?
Well, I was just reading our own town council planning policy, and it says that we don't support illuminated signs. And I can't remember what the Brecon policy
It's
is.
in TAP, definitely.
Well, I'm hoping our heritage policies and stuff, when they get written, actually come out strongly in favour of non-illumination.
So I'll cross-reference TAP and our policy.
Thank you.
I'll have a quick look at the local plan as well and see if it's in there.
And 867, Finney, single storey side annex extension to the dwelling in 25 wheat acres.
So
Sorry, Mike, I'm not quick enough. I see it turning around.
So this is, we were talking about this before, weren't we, that wheat acres is one of the ones that actually, they previously refused it. It was 676, which was a single story annex to the dwelling. So Brecon actually refused it. It was a variance. We agreed to it. Brecon refused it. So they have come through with a revised plan. So let me come on here. So the wheat acres is the end property.
Yeah.
Let me just get to it. Are you catching me up? Are we jogging around? So the supporting statement is they've made amendments to the refused design. Further to the refusal of the planning application 676 at the above address, amendments have been imposed on the proposal for this new free go application. Not quite sure what that means, to address the reasons for refusal. The amendments are as follows. The front-facing projection has been reduced in depth by 1 metre from 4.3 to 3.3. The external wall finish amended from horizontal timber effect wood into facing brickwork as existing dwelling, and the roof amended from flat roof to tiled pitch roof. I know that Chris very happy. Tiles and pitch as existing dwelling. So that is what they updated. So that's the, yeah, and that's the proposed.
Agree to the first one.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to comment on this because I've spoken to chap on the other.
Okay. Basically, in front of the building line there, to the right, isn't it? Any comments? happy to support then?
Yep.
On to 27723, lake planning application.
So the first one is the installation of a wood burning stove with a new flue pipe at 29 Magdalen Street. My papers won't get my new papers out. So this is where the location map is. This is the existing and positions. And where that's the rear view, where they're going to, you can see where the wood flue goes in on the back. You can see on the sloped roof.
So is this application purely for the application of that flue?
Yes.
So I did notice on the plans, on the drawings, it talk about knocking out internal walls and what have you.
No,
but
this
what's
is,
that dealt
this
with
is, this is,
previously?
yeah, this is just listed building for the installation of wood burning stove with a new flue pipe. So that's the rear view. And
So
this is the
the only
ground
visible
floor.
from the rear.
So it shows where the location of the actual wood burner is in the corner of the roof. Which, corresponded with that sloped roof at the back. There you go. That's the side view of where that will go.
We have it support?
Agreed.
Yeah.
So the last. You have discussed the last one as well, and in fact, Terry, you said that on this one. It's the Borough Way park. What happened is the trade park, they came through before and we made objections, particularly about HGV routing. And they came back and they wrote a letter saying that they sent in additional information. So they did a response to Breckland Environmental Health, so the response to Breckland Council and councillors, so some of you would have already seen this. Response to Highways, Environment Agency, Thetford Town Council, but I haven't actually received that yet, but they've put it on the website, but they haven't actually sent it to me. So they did the biodiversity game box specification. They amended the noise impact assessment, the drainage plan, the proposed site layout and elevation. And they also did the HGV. So I printed out their response to us. And it confirms that the HGV accessing and egressing the site will follow a traffic routing plan that routes HGVs west of Borough Way along London Road to the A11 away from Thetford Town Centre and along existing designated routes. The exception will be HGVs delivering inert wastes and recycled aggregates to local areas. There are fewer residential properties along the routes proposed, and the percentage increase in traffic as a result of the preserved proposals will not be significant from an environmental quality or amenity perspective, in compliance with the local plan policies TR02 and COM04. The following has also been taken into consideration. The transport statement submitted with the application DTA December 2022 confirms table 3 that over a 24-hour period, the development is forecast to have a 1.7 increase in traffic using Borough Way, 5% during the morning, 1 hour peak, and 6.4% during the afternoon, 1 hour peak, and these include staff movements. Percentage increase in traffic using London Road and the A11 will be less given they will experience higher traffic flows as Borough Way only serves the industrial estate. Traffic movements will be limited to the proposed hours of opening 0700 to 1800 hours Monday to Friday, 0700 to 1700 hours Saturday, and will be closed Sundays and bank holidays. An HGV routing plan has been prepared by the applicant's traffic consultant, and the applicant confirms they'll be accepting a planning condition to comply with all these proposals. So that's a long-winded
So
reply.
the traffic routing has been printed out there and the plan to look at the runoff, which is, I think, something
Yeah.
that we've looked at. So are we happy then to support that? Thank you. That's the lot of it on the late.
It is on the lake.
So we're now on to 27823, then decisions of variance.
So I did circulate the conditions of variance to note. So I'm assuming that everybody's seen those and happy that they've been noted.
And on to 27923, items to be referred to the Greater Thetford Partnership. Anybody got any burning desires? Nights? No? So then 28023, recommend council consultation on the local validation list for planning. That committee on the Greater consultation documents circulated.
Yeah, so this was circulated. So a local validation list is a compendium of the supporting documents which are required to be submitted.
Right, sorry.
House of the Rising Sun, let's go. So requires local planning authorities to publish a list of information that is required, information requirements for the app. It should be proportionate to the nature and scale of the proposal development and reviewed on a frequent basis. Local planning authorities should only request supporting information that is relevant, necessary and material to the application in question. The local list is designed to provide clarity for applicant and agent about the need for submission of required documents upfront, having regard to size, scale and complexity of the application. This will help ensure agents and applicants know what is required from them in support of their proposal, to validate a planning application and enable determination as quickly as possible. So, as part of that, there is a table that was sent out with the documents. So for householder applications, the national requirements would be, for example, an application form fee, ownership certificate, location plan, block plan, to scale plans of all existing proposals, a heritage statement if in a conservation area or a listed building, and an agricultural report where there were trees, hedgerows that are likely to be affected. But I didn't know if you wanted to.
We've got
no sent out. Yeah.
No decision. It's just really to notice.
Yeah, and if there's anything that we think that we should change.
Anybody want to comment on anything that's there or wish to add to? No. Okay. Noted then. So H123, community engagement. Anything tonight's meeting that we want to comment about? No. Okay, so 28223, committee officers update, if any.
Yes, we've been in talks with Brecon Reference League Close. Our solicitors are now talking to each other, and that will go through however long that takes to go through. So obviously there'll be legal fees as well, but that will come out of our professional services budget line in personnel.
Good. Okay, well, thank everybody for their attendance and meeting closed.
Thank you.